Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we really plunge headfirst into the stories and sources that don't just make you think, but make you feel.
Definitely.
Today, we're not simply recounting a tale. We're unraveling a narrative woven from the raw, sometimes terrifying depths of the human psyche when pushed to its absolute limits.
Yeah.
Our mission for this deep dive is to extract the most potent insights from one single intense source, the novel Mine by Robert R. McCammon.
That's right. You're about to journey into the shocking intersection of two very different lives, exploring how the lingering, often destructive echoes of the past can violently reshape the present.
hmm
It's a gripping exploration of desperation, delusion, and an unyielding primal force,
Hmm.
a mother's love.
As we were getting ready to unpack this, I was struck by how the novel just throws us from, the affluent suburbs of Atlanta directly into the shadowy remnants of a radical past.
It really does.
It's truly a wild ride, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So prepare for some surprising facts about human resilience, obsession, and that unsettling question of what it truly means to be well informed about the darker corners of our world. Let's dive in.
Okay.
Our story opens with Mary Terrell. She's a woman who, on the surface, lives the seemingly ordinary life. Assistant day manager at Burger King.
Right.
She puts on that Burger King face, smiling and friendly, being sure there's no trace of steel in her eyes.
But that facade shatters almost immediately, doesn't it?
Instantly. The novel reveals Mary Terror, a deeply disturbed individual.
And what's striking from the outset is that stark contrast, the public persona versus this terrifying inner world.
Yeah.
The book doesn't waste any time. It shows us this horrifying history with infants, signaling a profoundly fractured reality, like the Robbie incident. I mean, it's hard to even talk about. She held an infant, screaming, turned up the stove burner,
Yeah.
and then pressed the baby's face against the red-hot burner.
It says his face stayed on the hot coils in a crisp, black, inside-out impression. He died.
Just horrific. And it establishes right away how dangerous she is.
And what's even more disturbing, maybe, is that this wasn't just a one-off shocking event, was it?
No, not at all. We learn about her box of death.
Right. This closet containing dead babies. Thankfully, they're dolls, but
But the way they're destroyed. Burned, faceless like Robbie, decapitated, torn limb from limb, crushed under tires, ripped open by knives or razors.
it's not just horrific detail. It's like this insight into how her rage is ritualized, symbolically directed, shows this deep pathology.
And they're all little boys. She calls them her loves. It's so twisted.
Yeah.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, Mary's identity is deeply rooted in her past. She was part of the Stormfront.
A splinter group of the Weather Underground, right? For listeners who might not know, they were a radical left-wing group in the 60s and 70s, known for militant actions,
Yeah.
bombings against the government.
Exactly. And Mary had this unwavering allegiance to their leader, Lord Jack Gardner.
Her skills really reflect that background, too. Making a bomb out of chicken shit and kerosene.
Right. Field stripping an M16, shooting a policeman in the face. Her mindset was all about fighting pigs, grinding them down, blowing their shitty brains out.
She lived by what she called the underground faith.
Yeah, and that faith wasn't really spiritual. It was more like this unshakable belief in their revolutionary cause, which justified, extreme violence.
And this ideology clearly feeds into her mental state, which is just riddled with delusions and paranoia.
Oh, definitely. She genuinely believed FBI agents wore masks of human skin.
Like something out of a horror movie. And they were lurking everywhere, like cockroaches.
And she had that unique, almost darkly comical alarm system.
Yeah, where the back of her neck tingled and goosebumps rose on her arms when pigs were near.
It's bizarre. And she heard voices, right? Her dead comrades, Cincy, Nikita, Jeanette, even God, supposedly.
Even while tripping on acid, the book mentions. It's just this terrifying picture of a mind completely unhinged.
And that wasn't just in her head. The violence became very real, very external.
Right, before the main kidnapping plot kicks off.
Yeah. She assaulted and robbed her elderly neighbor, Shecklet, broke his nose, left him bleeding just because she thought he had money.
And then even colder, the murder of Corey Peterson, that 10-year-old boy in the woods.
Just to tie up the loose ends.
No.
To prevent identification. And she took his rifle.
It really shows how detached from reality she'd become. How incredibly dangerous, like a ticking time bomb.
Exactly.
Okay, so now let's switch gears completely. Let's step into Laura Clayborne's world.
A total contrast.
Totally. On the surface, Laura's living this, quintessential American dream, pregnant, affluent life in Atlanta.
Husband's a stockbroker, Doug. Household income over $100,000 a year. BMW, high-end cosmetics.
Cultural pursuits, though, interestingly, often alone. But the novel hints pretty quickly that perfection is often just an illusion, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And that's one of the powerful insights here, I think, how the author shows these subtle cracks under that perfect surface.
Like Doug's workaholism.
Yeah, constant late nights, this dream of a mythical tomorrow that even Laura realizes would never happen.
That phrase, mythical tomorrow, really hits home, doesn't it? It's like that common trap of deferring happiness.
For sure. And neglecting what's right in front of you. Plus, underneath her happiness about the baby, Laura felt this dazed dread of the unknown.
Which feels very real, very relatable for expecting mothers.
Yeah.
And then that illusion of control just shatters completely.
Ooh.
Laura finds the ticket stub in Doug's pants, leads her to see Jansen's apartment.
The mistress.
The confrontation is explosive. Right there at the hospital, she tells him she knows.
And her water breaks. In the parking lot.
Talk about dramatic timing. The universe is just piling it on.
Seriously, and with Laura's world already cracking, this is exactly when the real nightmare begins.
David's birth. St. James Hospital. But Laura has to deliver without Doug.
Because he's with his mistress.
And this is where Mary Terra steps back into the story. Her plan is just chilling in its calculation.
Yeah, this delusion of getting a baby as a gift for Lord Jack.
She gets into the hospital with a nurse disguise. The uniform, that creepy smiley face button.
Such a disturbing detail, right?
Oh, right.
And the fake name tag, Jeanette Leister.
The name of a dead stormfronter.
Her planning was unnervingly meticulous. Casing the hospital, noting security, stairwells, uniforms.
Even made up a backstory as a nurse in Vietnam, leveraging that assumed authority.
And the abduction itself is terrifyingly simple. Takes David from Laura's room, room 24, identifies him by his light blue eyes like Lord Jack's, then spirits him away in a laundry hamper. Apparently a laundry worker even helped her, saw her act in charge.
It makes you think, doesn't it, how easily someone with that kind of single-minded delusion can exploit vulnerabilities in systems we think are secure.
It really does. It's a stark reminder of how fragile safety can feel.
So the theft happens, and it just ignites Laura's desperate, relentless pursuit. Her immediate reaction is pure shock, tears, vomiting.
A totally primal reaction.
But even then, she refuses to involve Doug, which says so much about their relationship at that point.
Yeah, it's completely broken. Meanwhile, the FBI gets involved, Agent Kirkland. They quickly ID Mary Terrell, her dangerous history, the burned dolls.
And then another key player emerges, reflecting that past, coming back to haunt the present. Earl Van Diver.
Right. The FBI agent Mary shot back in '72. He survived.
Miraculously. And now he's tracking her with a magnetic homing device, described as a taut package of muscle and bone powered by hatred.
So he represents the law, but also this really deep personal vendetta adds another layer of raw emotion to the chase.
Definitely. And Laura, to understand Mary, to have any chance, she goes on this improbable journey into Mary's past.
Which is fascinating in itself.
First, she finds Mark Treggs, former commune member, wrote Burn This Book, knew a stormfronter from his, Berkeley and Haight-Ashbury days.
Now he's a park custodian. He's reluctant, but he tells Laura Mary is crazy as hell and won't be taken alive.
A glimpse into how that era still echoes.
Mark then points Laura towards Bedelia Dee Morse. Or Diane Daniels, her real name.
Another former stormfronter, now a Potter.
And Dee Dee is living with this intense guilt and fear, this internal prison cell. She talks about having stole the life from fellow human beings, celebrating murders with hits of acid.
Wow. She's the counterpoint to Mary's lack of remorse.
Exactly. And Dee Dee gives Laura the crucial piece. Mary stole the baby for Jack's gift. She thought Jack wrote that message in Rolling Stone.
And Dee Dee confirms the worst fear. If the police find them, she'll kill the baby first, and then she'll keep shooting until the police kill her.
Just chillin', sets the stakes impossibly high.
Meanwhile, Mary's on her own journey, this delusional quest across the country. Her mental state is just deteriorating.
Yeah, and options are dwindling. She even meets another former stormfronter, Edward Fordyce. He's trying to write a book about the front.
But Mary sees him as a traitor, trying to spread the front's blood, sweat, and tears out on the wood pulp pages. Her loyalty, however warped, is absolute.
And then that pilgrimage to Liberty Island. Thinking she's meeting Lord Jack.
That scene is so poignant in a disturbing way.
It really is. Her delusion of seeing Jack, then the shattering realization that Edward was just researching his book, it's like her aha moment, but it's devastating.
The collapse of her entire reality.
Pretty much. And she keeps spiraling. God, talking to her, injuries getting worse, clinging to the baby, calling him drummer, insisting he's hers.
It shows the terrifying power of a shattered delusion, stripping away her last bit of identity.
While all this is happening with Mary, we see Laura's incredible transformation.
Yeah, from sheltered socialite to, well, determined survivor doesn't even quite cover it.
No kidding. That scene where Dee Dee performs roadside surgery on Laura's broken hand.
Oh, man, to get the diamond out of her ring for cash, it's gruesome.
But it shows Laura's resilience, her willingness to do anything. That's a long way from buying fancy cosmetics.
A very long way.
And the chase itself becomes brutal. Laura and Dee Dee hotwire a car. They face off with Van Diver, pursue Mary across states, through terrible weather, dealing with pain.
Laura's resolve is just iron. She says, I'm not going to lose Mary, meaning stay on her trail.
It really forces you to ask yourself, what would you do? It demonstrates that raw, transformative power of a mother's will.
Okay, so all of this leads inevitably to the bitter end, the confrontation at the Thunder House.
But first, Mary reaches Jack Gardner's actual house in California.
Right, expecting this ecstatic reunion.
And instead, Jack, who's now just a regular suburban family man, is horrified. Sees her, sees the baby, calls the police immediately.
The ultimate collision of her past fantasy and his present reality.
And this is Mary's final devastating aha moment. There had never been a Lord Jack. There had been only a puppet master. His power had always been a lie.
That's the foundation of her life, just gone, crumbling.
Absolutely. The belief system that drove her for decades, destroyed in an instant. It's a painful look at our need to believe, even in fiction.
So reality shattered. She flees with David to the Thunder House.
This decaying coastal house from her past. The only house she'd ever called home, she thinks. A ruined sanctuary for her ruined mind.
And Laura finds her there, guided by David's cries. The final showdown.
And there's that chilling moment. David's tiny hand tightens around her index finger as if to stop it from pulling a trigger.
And the gun doesn't go off.
It's like this last flicker of humanity in Mary. Maybe the primal touch of a child holding her back just for a second. It's incredibly powerful, even if fleeting.
But the confrontation still turns brutal. Laura gets the first shots off, hits Mary in the leg, then the head.
Strikes her with the automatic, finally gets David back.
But even then, Mary lands one last desperate punch to Laura's face before she dies.
Yeah, Laura hobbles out with David. Mary Terror is dead. But the cost is immense.
Laura reflects on her journey, the long way she's come, but also that the most dangerous distance still lay ahead, which speaks volumes about trauma and recovery.
Definitely. And Dee Dee goes back to her life, changed forever. That prison cell of her past is still there, but maybe she has a new understanding now.
So after all that, what does this all mean? This deep dive, I think, has really pulled back the curtain on the profound impact of unresolved trauma, radical ideologies.
Yeah, how a single devastating event can just strip away every layer of control we think we have.
And force us to confront our deepest fears, but also hidden strengths.
Right. And it makes you question what happens when personal delusions become deadly realities. How those echoes of a turbulent past can just violently reshape the present.
It's a stark reminder, maybe, that the scariest monsters aren't always, under the bed. Sometimes they're the ones we refuse to acknowledge in ourselves or in our history.
Well said. And the source material really pushes us to consider, what does it truly take to escape your past? And what price do you pay for the things you desperately believe are yours? It's a question that definitely lingers long after you finish the book. Leaves you pondering the enduring and often destructive power of belief and love.